Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the recap, brought to you by Raceface, but hosted by Janneman, Pruis, and myself, Stephen Kernick. Big thank you to the Raceface community on sending all the replays. I'm going to get that out of the way because there's lots to cover, Janneman. This evening, we have got a whole slew, and even congratulations going out to champions.
Greetings, Stephen. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. It's been a busy week of racing, and as you said, the season starting to draw to a close slowly but surely. We're wrapping up championships this week again, Stephen. 2 of them being wrapped up, as far as I know. So I think it's another busy week ahead, and maybe next week this time another couple of congratulations would be in order.
That's it. But let's go and jump over to our grid championship and take a look at all the drivers there. So the Grid Championship brought to you by Medal State Raceface and powered by MTN. Third place of our Gold Division, which is our AM tier, goes to Vietia Buertha, who also sent to the replay. Big thank you to Vietia. Getting that third place, well done, buddy. Great run up there. But he was just shy of second place, going to Mr. Pretorius, who managed to get the run and pull away from the fight. Eventually, it came down to the final pit stop where he finished up, how's this, gentlemen? 0.5 of a second behind first place, which was Mr. Schultz, who is really powering away with that Porsche, managed to get the win, but narrowly getting it. He actually got a little bit sideways, and it came down to a drag race all the way down to the wire.
Yeah, very close racing. I mean, in the shots there, Stephen, you can see how close first and second place was running, and always good to see such close racing to the line after 80 minutes of racing.
Yeah, and also fighting out on a very, very dark Kyle Army by the end of it. Let's move on to our Pro-Am division because there's also some interesting stuff that's happened. So, third place, Charles Darden, managing to keep the pressure up, was behind his teammate for a majority of the race, did get the leapfrog ahead, and they played a bit of yo-yos with one another, going and battling it out door to door with one another. No team orders, but second place ultimately went to Mr. Issam Domingo, who was managing to keep up the pace, pulling his teammates along, but also having to put up the fight against his teammates. So no team orders were there between the two Project Vapor drivers.
Yeah, so no multi-21. It's open for racing, and good to see, Stephen, when teammates take each other on track and are allowed to race and fight it out.
But ultimately, they did lose out first place to Mr. Watkins, who ultimately came down to the final pit stop, managed to leapfrog past Domingo, past Dalden, and he managed to get the win overall. So just taking one little risk in terms of the pit stops paid off in the long game, and taking the gold for our Pro-Am division of the Grid Championship.
So, Stephen, how does the Pro Grid look after Thursday evening, and now that the results have been published?
Well, let's take a look because lots happened and there's a lot to cover in this one. So, third place, Tariq Adam. He won the race, but due to penalties, that did drop him down the order, put him into third place, still scoring good points for his championship, but not quite the result he was looking forward to, taking home the bronze trophy at this point. But that is no easy feat, especially in our Pro division. He lost out second place to Ryan Ottens. Ryan Ottens managed to get a little bit more power down, managed to get some movement, was ultimately chasing down to the wire, and, well, it came down to who can keep up the pace the longest. Ryan Ottens getting that second place, but not without also some scratches and bruises by the end of the race. So that's something we do need to consider, and that did affect it. But one person who ultimately got the biggest of the best goes to our first place man, Daniel Demartros Petra. Who would have believed it? Finished third in the race, but due to the penalties that were incurred, he managed to go into first by the end of it, which is absolutely great to go and see someone keeping it clean. He's able to close down the distance and didn't quite expect to walk away with the gold. Ultimately, did.
Oh, well, this is a nice surprise. And Stephen, at the end of the day, if you can keep your nose clean, there's always a possibility that you can move up the order in this type of a very, very close racing. So, bit of a mix-up on the podium. Not how the race ended on Thursday, but at the end of the day, we still had very close competitive racing during this race.
It did give Daniel Petro a great bit of help for his championship hopes, which is always great to see. Not quite lost it yet, still has a chance to maintain his top spots in the championship for the Grid Championship, brought to you by Metal State, Raceface, and fueled by MTN. That being said, though, this Thursday, we're going to be heading out to Bathurst. We're going to Australia. We're going to go down under. We're going to turn the screen over, so you're going to have to flip your phone over, flip your screen over, flip your tablet over, flip the TV over, just to watch all the racing as we make our way up and down through the mountain, especially after they have just had the virtual Bathurst 1000. This weekend, they're having the Bathurst 1000. So we're going to go and have a bit of fun on Bathurst.
Yeah, very fitting to go racing on Bathurst this week, seeing that there's racing everywhere on Bathurst, both in Sims, in IRL. Bathurst, one of those tracks where, how can we put it, things can get interesting.
Well, the first corner is actually called HE double hockey stick corner, so just keep that in mind. And that tells you the story about it. There used to be a tree.
That's what I wanted to say. At least a tree is gone.
Yes, there used to be a tree, and that's how it earned its name, because that tree took out more cars than ever, and it never got taken out of the ground. The only time it got taken out of the ground is when they actually had to resurface the circuit, and it was needed to be removed. But Bathurst, one of these circuits, if you can get a win on it, if you can keep consistent on it, well done to you. You managed to conquer the mountain. So let's see who's going to conquer the mountain in our Gold Division, our Pro-Am Division, and our Pro Division coming this Thursday on the 21st of September. That being said, we've got racing on the Wednesday, and let's take a look at our Raceface GT3 Sprint Series. Our Raceface GT3 Sprint Series, starting off with our Pro-Am class. Jean-Ray Buertha able to get the drive in the Porsche, getting third place. A Team Kernick Porsche carrying the momentum forward. Straight out of, it seems from the endurance, the team has managed to work out that Porsche and all the little nuances, if I can call it, of the Porsche 992 GT3. Managed to keep up the momentum right the way through the weeks and scoring third place for all the GT3 Sprint Series Pro-Am division, which does help his championship hopes. Ultimately, he couldn't get past Mr. Pretorius, who managed to keep up the pace once again, coming down to the wire. And did you know, when it came down to the last lap, it was first, second, third, fourth. They were all within 1 second of each other getting across that line, which is just mind-boggling to show how close these drivers are. They might be called Pro-Am, but they're definitely showing the skills of pros.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken about this a lot of times before. There's not a lot of pace difference between the Pro and the Pro-Am classes. And in the front of the Pro-Am field, these are the guys that are gunning for the Pro Grid spots next season to move on. So I think next season going to be very interesting to see how many of these drivers can actually move up to the Pro Division.
Well, one person who's got his eyes firmly fixated on moving up through it is David Farrell, who's been monumentally keeping up the pace at the moment, looking to join his fellow teammates up in the Pro Division. He's been keeping up the pace, which is fantastic to see. The road to Pro sometimes can be a bumpy one. At the moment, he's just starting the climb from the Pro-Am in our Raceface GT3 Sprint Series Pro-Am class, but is going to be taking some valuable points home for his championship. So let's keep an eye on it because, well, we got one more race, and first, second, and third is not decided as yet within our Pro-Am division of the Raceface GT3 Sprint Series. So keep that in mind as we keep an eye on it coming this Wednesday. But that being said, let's take a look over to our Pro division of our Raceface GT3 Sprint Series. Third place, Daniel Petro. How's this? A bit of a build-up to Thursday, managing to take the bronze in the GT3 Sprint Series on the Wednesday. Worked out all the kinks, and was able to apply it to the Thursday the Grid Championship. Your thoughts on this?
Well, as we've spoken about a lot of times before, that they see this Thursday series, although it's a championship on its own, very much as preparation for the Thursday series. So I think it's a very good opportunity. He took the opportunity on with both hands, sorted out all the kinks and applied it on the Thursday, and it worked out brilliantly for him at the end to keep his nose clean and get the victory at the end of the day.
Let's go over to our second place, Christopher Radloff, the big Mercedes, able to lumber its way to the top and have a good run out there. Good to see that everyone hasn't given up on the Mercedes as yet. It's one of these little cars that you don't want to see fade into obscurity due to how amazing it is. But Christopher Radloff showing how powerful that Mercedes can be to hold the second place spot in the Raceface GT3 Sprint Series. Tried as he might, he couldn't beat it out the reigning, the defending, and also the new champion for Season 10, Ryan Otten, scoring the crown once again, managing to hold on to it, and at one point looked like he was losing grip of it. Well, managed to secure it right at the end. Ryan Otten's becoming the Raceface GT3 Sprint Series champion.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan, very dominant this season, taking multiple race victories. But Stephen, I just want to know, can he be called the new champion if he was the champion, he still is the champion, and he's going to continue being the champion? Is that new or is that old?
Reigning in the words of Paul Heyman from WWE. Yes, I know WWE and I know Paul Heyman. As he would say, the reigning, the defending, the undisputed Raceface GT3 Sprint Series champion, Ryan Ottens. Yes. See, I can copy him, sort of. I can't quite get the voice. Need to get a bit more of the size. That being said, though, our Raceface GT3 Sprint Series is not over. Second place is still up for grabs. And as we head to our final round, round 8 at Bathurst, this Wednesday, 20th of September, for the Raceface GT3 Sprint Series Season 10 is going to be coming to a close, and don't miss it as we're going to end it off on one of the coolest circuits, in my opinion, being Bathurst. And let's see if the guys will be able to make their way through, and will the Conrad Straight be able to favor cars with a little bit more oomph behind them, such as V8 compared to the Ferrari V6s.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Those Ferraris are very quick in a straight line. Hopefully nobody drops a Conrad down that straight. So that's always interesting when that happens. But 55 minutes of racing, Stephen, one mandatory pit stop around the mountain. I think it's going to get interesting. And I think we'll see a lot of the grid back. I think Ryan will race just to how can we put it? Just to stomp down his dominance. Can we say that?
Well, I think he will be there, but everyone's going to give each other a run for his money. So he might be the champion now. He's still got to keep that win. So let's see what will happen at Bathurst on Wednesday. That being said, let's go and talk about another series that's wrapped up, and that is our Raceface TCR Series Season 2. Our third heat, our first heat. Let me get that one right. It was 2 heats. This was our first heat where Peter Hubert was able to maintain the pace in the Pennzoil little Honda and Hyundai Elantra. He was able to keep up the run and locking down that third place, keeping some championship hopes alive for his racing. But during his race, he wasn't running too far away from the field. He was having to work a little bit harder. Second place ultimately went to Jason Coetzee, who managed to get a little bit more of a run, got the momentum and kept the power on as he made his way around the circuit. Had a little bit of tricky moments here, there, and everywhere as the drivers all battled it out door to door in these front-wheel drive TCR cars. And I've got to say, it was some fantastic racing. And my voice really took a hammering from talking about all the action that was happening out on circuit. First place, though, and going and winning the championship for Season 2 and becoming the first ever 2-time Raceface TCR champion, Jan Fourie, And that was his competitors, his main championship rivals, just couldn't make it to the race. So Pruis needed a win in Heat 1 and to be in the top 3 come Heat 2. But ultimately, he's won the championship. He's become the 2-time champion. And well done to Johan Pruis. Well played.
Yeah, absolutely well done. And the TCR series, Stephen, we've seen it over the past 2 seasons becoming more popular by the race almost. So let's see what next season holds. Maybe the TCRs might be the thing on the iRacing side of Raceface that's going to become the huge championship like we see with the Grid Championship.
Well, let's not get too excited right now because we only talked about Heat 1. Let's take a look at Heat 2 because that's where things changed a little bit. Third place, Peter Hubert, keeping the consistency, Mr. Consistency himself. And honestly, I looked at his lap times. He actually has the highest performance and index of any driver in the grid, which means his lap times are the closest to one another compared to the rest of the field over the course of the year, over the course of the season, which has been 40 drivers. He has been the most consistent driver that's entered. How's that for a bit of a thought?
Oh, that is actually, that just shows you how consistent he is. And we all know, consistency is something that seriously helps you getting good results out of a race.
Second place went to Johan Pruis. He wasn't able to get the jump on Coetzee off a line, landed up into a bit of a squabble with the rest of the field and lost out the drive. So Pruis did take a second place, did score enough points to secure his victory in the championship, and ultimately he didn't even expect it to be the case. He got kind of caught out today finding out the results, the official results today, so well done Pruis. But first place goes to Jason Coetzee. He was able to get off a line a lot quicker this time, get away, get into fresh air, and was starting to pull away. A little bit of dialing in with the car, a little bit of moving of the brake bias, changing 1 or 2 bits and pieces between the heats, but ultimately taking the gold for Heat 2. So well done to Jason Coetzee. Fantastic run out there, and also brought home some valuable points for his championship hopes. That being said, that's our TCR Season 2 done and dusted, Janneman. Can you believe it? We've seen this Season 1, we've seen Season 2. Both of them are done and dusted. And the drivers are only getting ready. They excited to find out what's to come. Pruis looking to hold his crown yet again.
Absolutely. And let's see what next season brings. Will the championship become bigger? Will they start moving away from free tracks now that we are heading into Season 3? Will we see more of the paid tracks come into play? The Spas, the Suzukas, the Monzas, the Silverstones, and I mean, the list goes on and on and on that these cars can go racing on.
Well, let's take a look. But what's coming this week Tuesday, is the final heat of Season 1 of the Raceface F4 at Okayama. Round 4, 2 heats, 2 20-minute heats of open wheel action. I've got to say, I'm really excited to see what the drivers can do. Being Season 1, being single-seaters, which is kind of my... Well, I'm going to tell everyone a secret. That's my favorite, but don't tell anyone. Absolutely looking forward to seeing what the guys will be able to do for the final round. Round 4, 2 20-minute heats, 19th of September. Don't miss out. It's going to be out on Raceface.Pro over at YouTube, all live streamed for the amazing action. And also, someone is going to win the grand prize brought to you by Ardendorf Machinery Mart, which I've got to say, big thank you to Ardendorf for being the series sponsor, especially for Season 1. Taking the gamble, rolling the dice, and having an absolute ball while doing so. So keep an eye out for the Raceface F4 powered by Ardendorf Machinery Mart. That being said, let's move on to some more open wheel action, Janneman. Let's take a look at our Raceface F1. Third place going to Brandon Kruger, aka Azure, going and getting that third place. He was able to keep up the run. No, this time, not as dominant as he would like, getting swamped back down the field, and we'll have to deal with the results. Championship points, though, rather close with everyone. And I've got to say, the F1 2023, now a Phoenix from the Ashes championship. What do you think of it?
Well, we've spoken about a lot of times before, yet again. Drivers feel that F1 2023 really made the jump to a sim, and it's something you can really go racing on. Stephen, I feel this is a championship that's been revised and will only grow bigger, better, stronger as time goes by. So very much looking forward to the remainder of the season and also what next season will bring.
That's it. Second place going to Corsair, able to get the run, utilize the DRS and power his way through, especially on a circuit they don't get to race too often. So well done to Corsair. But ultimately, there can only be one winner. There's only one step that has number one and a gold trophy at the end of it. And that goes to Marsh. Once again, he's able to close down and clutch a victory right at the end. So well done to Marsh with a clutch right at the end of the race. It literally came down to the final 3 laps, if I remember correctly, that he was able to get the jump on the rest of the field. Coming up, though, on the 19th of September, they will be heading out to Interlagos, a very fun little circuit that also has created champions, that have broken champions, and that have broken more than enough cars as well.
Yeah, also a very narrow circuit at some places, so it's something to watch out and generally makes things quite interesting around there.
Well, you got to get into the DRS zone, slipstream behind the competitors, get past, and hopefully you can open up a 1.5 second gap so you don't get the same move pulled on you. Keep an eye out for Interlagos, round 9 of our Raceface F1 2023 Championship. And coming up on the 23rd, round 7, Kyle Army, 23rd of September for our Raceface Automobilista 2 series. And it's a series that's had its moments, unfortunately, due to load shedding and force majeure. They had to postpone different races. But ultimately, I think everyone's going to pitch up because this will be F1's around Kyle Army, which it's been a while since we heard F1's going. Yeah, we haven't heard a F1 go around Kyle Army for quite some time. In a race, we've seen it demoed, but it's going to be fun to see Automobilista 2 going and showing what the Formula 1s can do around Kyle Army, and what will Cheetah do to a Formula 1 car if they make it. Something to think about.
Liftoff.
The nearest space shuttle, that's for certain.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for joining us. Janneman, thank you once again. We have now crowned champions as per the official results. And your thoughts on this?
Well, it's always, coming to the end of a season, Stephen, it's always a bittersweet kind of thing. Kind of sad that you're starting to reach the end point. I mean, I said it earlier. This week we should be crowning at least 1 or 2 more champions. And then, by next week, the season's done. And the sweet part is that you can start looking forward to what next season will bring. It's always that exciting time. What tracks will be raced, in the different leagues, and who will be driving where, and so forth. Always exciting, but sad at the same time.
Well, the Grid Championship, we do know, has an encore round at the end of their series. So the guys will be having a bit of fun with a bit of an encore, which I'm looking forward to seeing how that is going to turn out and what will be the track, because we've got no details on that encore round.
Yeah, closely guarded secret at this stage.
I think it's going to be something interesting, and prep is going to be even more interesting for it. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for joining us. Take a look at our social media out at Raceface.Pro on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also go and take a look at our Discord as well. Also head over to www.raceface.pro to go and sign up for all the leagues. Keep an eye on all the information and be a part of all the series that are having a huge amount of fun, whether you like AMS2, iRacing, ACC, F1 2023. There is so much going on, to keep an eye out over it. And a big thank you to the Raceface community for submitting the replays for the recap. Without them, the recap wouldn't actually exist. So big shout out to the community for going and twisting our arms enough to do it. But from myself, Stephen Kernick, and a big thank you to the co-commentator and also the world's slowest alien. Well, can't say that. You've scored a top 10 twice now. Yeah, I'm going to say that you scored a top 10 twice. So does it count?
So have you.
Does it count as the world's slowest alien? We'll have to find out. We'll leave that to the comments. Thank you very much, guys. Let us know what you think. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon. If you're enjoying it, give us a thumbs up. And if you have a little bit of a disagreement, give us a thumbs down. We always enjoy the feedback, and leave a comment, even if it's emoji. It helps the algorithm, and let us know as our road to 1,000 subscribers continues for the Raceface.Pro YouTube channel. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time. And like always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.